Hello, this is Miss White, and today we're going to be doing Lesson 9, representing proportional relationships with equations. We will be starting out with example 1. Jackson and his grandfather constructed a model for a birdhouse. Many of their neighbors offered to buy the birdhouses. Jackson decided that building birdhouses could help him earn money for summer camp, but he is not sure how long it will take him to finish all the requests for birdhouses. If Jackson can build 7 birdhouses in 5 hours, write an equation that will allow Jackson to calculate the time it will take him to build any given number of birdhouses, assuming he works at a constant rate. A. Write an equation that you could use to find out how long it will take him to build any number of birdhouses. First, what we need to do is find out how long it will take him to build one birdhouse. To do this, we need to find our constant. So our constant, K, equals Y over X. And now we need to remember that we need to find one birdhouse. To find Jackson's constant of building his birdhouse, we have K equals Y over X. The Y is going to be our time it takes him over the amount of birdhouses he's making, and in this case, we're trying to find one house. With the given information that we have, we know Jackson can build 7 birdhouses in 5 hours. So that means that we need to put in for our time. So we have 5 over the amount of birdhouses he can make, which is 7. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator. All right. Your answer will be 0.7. Now we need to write our equation with our constant, that is 0.7. So we have Y equals our constant times X, and when we rewrite it, it will be Y equals 0.7X. Now let's use our equation for B. How many birdhouses can Jackson build in 40 hours? So we have our equation of Y equals 0.7x. Now, is 40 hours going to be our Y value or our X value? The 40 hours will be our Y value since we're talking about time. So now we need to substitute 40 in for Y. So we have 40 equals 0.7x. Since we are solving for X, because we're trying to figure out how many birdhouses he can make in 40 hours, we have to get X by itself. To get X by itself, we have to divide this side by 0.7, and what we do to the one side, we have to do the other. So we're dividing both sides by 0.7. When we look over here, we have 0.7 divided by 0.7. That will give us 1. So now we have X by itself. Now take out your calculator and calculate 40 divided by 0.7. All right, you should have calculated 57.1. Well, Jackson can't build 57.1 of a birdhouse. So go ahead and say he built about 57 birdhouses. C. How long will it take Jackson to build 37 birdhouses? Use the equation from part A to solve the problem. So we're talking about this equation right here. We also used it in B. So we have Y equals 0.7x. Now, if we're trying to figure out the number of birdhouses, will we be substituting 35 for our y value or our x value? We will be substituting 35 birdhouses for our x value since x talks about the amount of houses. So we have y equals 0.7 times 35. Go ahead and solve for y. Plug into your calculator 0.7 times 35. Great. Now we know that y equals 24.5 hours. All right, D. How long will it take to build 71 birdhouses? Again, we're going to use the same equation from A, y equals 0.7. And because we're still trying to find the number of birdhouses like we did in C, we will substitute 71 in for x. So we have y equals 0.7 times 71. Go ahead and solve that in your calculator. You should have gotten 49.7 hours. Let's move on to the next example. Example 2. Al's produce stand sells 6 ears of corn for $1.50. Barbara's produce stand sells 13 ears of corn for $3.12. Write two equations. One for each produce stand that model the relationship between the number of ears of corn sold and the cost. Remember that when we write an equation, we need to find the unit rate. To find our unit rate, we need to decide, do we need to know how much corn we can get for $1 or how much 1 ear of corn costs? Whatever we want one of, that is going to be our x. And to find how much 1 ear of corn is, we have to take 150 and divide it by 6. So in this case, x is going to be our number of ears, which in this case we want it to be 1, and our cost will be our y. Now, the equation for the unit rate, or our constant, they are the same thing, is k equals y over x. Let's choose an ordered pair, and we will put it in as our constant. So our y value is 150. Our x value will be 6. Go ahead and put this equation into your calculator. All right, after solving, you will know that our constant, k, equals 0.25. Now we know that 1 ear of corn cost 25 cents. Now we need to write the equation. We have y equals our unit rate times x. Now we're going to plug our unit rate into k. So we have y equals 0.25 x. Now we're going to do the same thing for Barbara's produce stand. So we're going to first have to find our unit rate. To find our unit rate, also called our constant, is y over x. Now let's choose an order paired up here and solve. Now we're going to have k equals our y. Our y is the cost, so we have $3.12 over the number of ears that we have, which is 13. Now go ahead and solve for k in your calculator. Great. You should have gotten 0.24. Okay, now we know that 1 ear cost 24 cents. Now that we know that 1 ear costs 24 cents, we are going to write our equation of y equals k times x, and we are going to put our unit rate in for k. So y equals 0.24x. And here are our two equations. When we look at both of these equations, we know that y is our cost, our 0.24 is the unit rate, our constant, and our x is the number of years purchased. All right, and that wraps up our lesson. Have a wonderful day.